Welcome to part 2 of the dining room table winch rebuild. You can't do this at home. If you're married, it won't work. Your winch will self-destruct. Don't try it. With that being said, we've got the parts in. I've got this new 6-horse motor from Warren. This is for their 9.5 XP winch. It says so right there, 9.5 XP. This is the old motor beside it here. And you can tell the difference of how much longer that motor is. And it's made different. The new motor is a sealed motor. It comes with this gasket here and a little washer that I'm assuming goes right here. It doesn't say, to keep this from moving back and forth. Now this motor was damaged. The brushes were damaged when I received it in shipping. If you can see right here, that little metal plate right there was bent because this plastic piece here goes on the other end on this shaft, and the bolts go through, and it broke the ears off of here that holds all this in place, so it allowed this to go back in and hit the plate where the brushes are and bend them out. And the brushes were sitting at an angle and not even touching where they ride at right there. So I took a screwdriver and got in right here on this metal plate and hit it with a hammer and knocked them back straight, and where the brushes are flat against the armature, I guess that's what they call it right there, where they ride at, so that the motor will work, because I didn't have time to send it back and they just sent me another one. Just like it that UPS dropped or whatever. So this here should have been metal. You can see where the ears broke off there, and it would not have broke like that. But with that being said, this is the cap for it. See, there's a gasket in there. The bolts are also coated with what appears to be like a shrink wrap on them, I guess, to seal. And if you can tell, the bearing sits in there, and that makes a sealed surface on there, where the old style, this cap just covered up this plastic assembly here, and there was nothing sealed, and you can see all the corrosion in there. And this end here was not sealed either, and so water could get in around everywhere. So this sealed 6-horse motor is supposed to be a lot better than this 4.6 motor here. Now I did some math. Hopefully it's correct. I'm going to show here. Get over here. Alright. I mentioned in another video that the difference between the 15,000 and the 12,000 is simply the gear ratio. Over here in this housing right here, there's 3 sets of planetaries in here, and according to the part numbers that I found on Warren's website, there's 2 of the planetaries that are different, and that's the difference in the 15,000 and 12,000 winch. The drum is the same drum, the same part number, so I know it's the same diameter and everything, because that makes a difference in your pulling power as well, with the layers of cable on a drum or different diameter drum. Now here is this new end cover that I purchased because I broke the old one when I released it under tension, because I didn't have a choice, because the winch broke and I had my truck in between a tree and another truck and no way to release the tension. Now that cover is the same for the 12,000 and the 15,000. They sent these stickers here in this bag. If you can see it, that says M12000 and that says M12000, because this cover fits both of them. So they send both of the stickers when you buy that cover. Now this hook is for 15,000 or the 16.5 Ti winch. This cable is for the 15,000 or the 16.5. It's 90 foot of 7/16 cable, whereas the 12,000 pound takes 125 foot of 3/8 cable. Alright, so back to the math over here. The M15000 has a 315 to 1 gear ratio. The 12000 has a 261 to 1. So if we do a little math, 315 minus 261 is 54. Divided by 261 is 20.69%. So if you take 15,000, you subtract 20%, that's 3,000 pounds difference. So 15,000 minus 3,000 gives you a 12,000 pound winch, all within the gear ratio change. Alright, now if we do the same thing with this horsepower, this bigger motor, we've got a 6 horsepower motor. We're replacing the old 4.6, that's 1.4 horsepower difference. Now I do not know if these motors are exactly rated, is that the exact rating, or different manufacturers change that or whatever. It may not be that much stronger, but if in fact it is, it's a 30% increase. So if we take this 12,000 pound winch and we increase the horsepower of it by 30%, that should give us 15,600 pounds, roughly. Like I say, that's going to vary a little bit depending on variables. Alright, if we upgraded this with the 15,000 pound gear train, that would make it a 19,500 pound winch. Now, I'm not going to do that because that 7/16 winch cable there has a 20,000 pound or a little over breaking strength. So it could possibly be broken if those numbers in fact are correct. I also don't know if the winch mounts or if the drum would handle that extra force. And I'm not sure why Warren doesn't put a bigger motor on the winch and put the Seal 6 horsepower motor on the winch, because obviously this is a lot better. You got a metal plate in here for your brushes to ride on, where this is some kind of plastic composite. The motor's not any more expensive. It was actually the motor itself was like $226 on Amazon. The 4.6 motor was $234. So the 6 horse motor was actually cheaper. Now I spent $548 and some change on these all these parts here to repair this winch. A good chunk of that was the motor. That cover there, I forget exactly what it was, 130 or 40 something, and then the cable I think was like 128 or something other, and then the hook was about 50 bucks. So it's like $548. I'm not sure what I did with the invoice, around here somewhere. But we're going to get started cleaning this up. I'm going to clean all these up with diesel, get them washed up. Okay, I've got the gears, planetaries, and everything washed up in diesel. I washed them up with diesel, and then I sprayed some brake clean on some of the stuff that had oily film on it to kind of help get that off, load it off with air and everything. This here is the plate that the motor sits on, bolts to. See these grooves right here? Those are water drains for the old style motor. That it allows water to get in, first thing, but it also allows the water to drain out. But being as how this is a Seal motor design, what we're going to do is those little water drains there, we're going to fill them up with JB Quick and let it dry, and then file it off flat, and then put a little layer of silicone around this with a gasket on it and bolt that Seal motor to it, and that should keep all the water out. I always just use the cardboard package most of the time because I don't have anything else to mix this first batch on. I'm using this stuff. And I guess I'll use the old bolt to mix it with today.